medical forms, and mother loss. The question that hurts every time. There are moments in grief that we expect to hurt: birthdays, holidays, Mother's Day, those anniversaries that creep up before we're even ready to acknowledge them. We brace ourselves for those days, knowing they'll be heavy. But then there are moments that catch us off guard, the seemingly small, routine things that no one ever warns you about. For me, one of those things is paperwork. Filling out a simple form at the doctor's office shouldn't be emotional. It shouldn't bring tears to my eyes. But every time I reach the part where they ask for Mother's name and is she still living, my heart sinks. I sit there, pen in hand, staring at the line, unwilling to write the word. I don't want to admit it. I don't want to see it in ink. Deceased. It takes me a good 10 minutes to get through that section of the form because everything in me resists writing it. It feels like I'm solidifying something I don't want to be true. It feels cold, impersonal, like her entire existence is reduced to a checkmark in a box. She was here and now she's gone. That's what the form is telling me. But what about everything in between? What about the love, the laughter, the phone calls, the way she smelled, the things she taught me, the way she hugged me when I was scared? How can I just write deceased and move on? And I know that the doctor's office shouldn't be expected to care about my mother's death. I know they see 100 patients a day, filling out the same forms, checking the same boxes. But it still feels like a punch in the gut when they gloss over the paperwork, see that my mom is deceased, and move on without a word. No pause, no acknowledgement, no condolences. Just like that. I check the box, and the next thing I know, a cold stethoscope is pressed against my chest. I always wondered if the doctor could hear my broken heart. No one talks about this part of grief. No one tells you that filling out registration forms can bring back a wave of pain you weren't prepared for. It's something most people never think twice about. They fill in their parents' names, their phone numbers, their emergency contact info, and move on. But for those of us who have lost our mothers, it's another reminder that the world keeps asking about someone we can no longer reach. Every time I write deceased, it feels like I'm telling a lie. Because to me, she's not just gone. She's everywhere. She's in my thoughts, my mannerisms, the way I say certain words, the way I love fiercely, just like she did. She's in my laugh, in my reflection, in my dreams. She is not just a box I check. For anyone who struggles with this too. If you've ever found yourself stuck in that same moment, hesitating to write the words, feeling like it's too final, too painful, please know you're not alone. This is a very real, very human reaction to loss. And while I don't have a clinical mental health approved strategy to fix it, I can tell you what has helped me as someone actually living through this. 1. Take a deep breath. Acknowledge the moment. It's okay to pause. It's okay to feel it. You don't have to rush through that section like it's nothing, because it is something. 2. Reframe what deceased means to you. Instead of seeing it as a cold official word, try to see it as a reminder of their lasting impact. They are not just gone. They lived, they loved, and they left a permanent imprint on you. 3. If it helps, say their name out loud. Before you write it down, take a second and say, "My mother's name is her name, and she is still with me." Acknowledge her existence in a way that feels real to you. 4. Have a go-to memory for these moments. When you reach that part of the form, think of one good memory that makes you smile. It doesn't erase the pain, but it softens the edges. 5. Remember, a form cannot define your mother's legacy. That little box, that one word, does not tell the whole story. You carry your mother in ways far beyond what paperwork can capture. I don't write these blogs as a mental health professional. I write them as someone who is living it, breathing it, and figuring it out in real time. Grief doesn't come with a manual, but the Heart of Miss B Inc. exists to remind you that you don't have to navigate this alone. So if you've ever felt the same frustration, the same sadness, or even the same shame when faced with that section on a form, please know this. You are not alone. Your mother's story is bigger than a checkbox. And you have permission to take your time. Grief isn't just about the big milestones, it's hidden in the paperwork too. And that's okay. About Kenyatta E. Gray. Kenyatta E. Gray is an author, entrepreneur, and founder of the Heart of Miss B Inc., a nonprofit that provides compassionate support to women who have lost their mothers. Since her mother's passing, Kenyatta has turned her grief into a driving force, building a legacy that speaks to resilience, purpose, and healing. She has published several books, launched a successful nonprofit, and created programs that help others navigate the path of loss.